Let's slow this down and deal in facts, process, and language. Headlines are flying that the rental home associated with the artist d4vd reportedly had a large freezer that could fit a body. That exact phrasing is doing numbers because it's lurid. But sensational framing isn't evidence. Tonight I'm going to explain what that wording actually signals, what investigators would do with an appliance like that, why size descriptions don't prove anything, and what to watch for next if you care about the truth rather than the clicks. First, the phrase itself, could fit a body, is not a forensic conclusion, it's a tabloid-style descriptor. Lots of chest freezers are physically large. If a report says police noted or examined a freezer, that means it was relevant enough to document, nothing more. A freezer being a point of interest or collected for testing is miles away from proof that it was used for a crime. Responsible coverage keeps that gap front and center. So what actually happens when investigators encounter an item like this? Step one is lawful access, either through consent, a warrant, or another recognized exception. Once inside, they photograph the freezer in place and record identifying information, make, model, and serial number. They document whether it's plugged in, the thermostat setting, frost patterns, odors, and visible contents. If anything might be evidentiary, packaging, residue, fluids, or smears, they'll swab, bag, and label it. That's where chain of custody begins. Every transfer is logged so lab results are admissible later. If there's a reason to remove the freezer, it's sealed and transported. If not, it's documented and left in situ. Beyond the physical box, the paper trail matters. Was the freezer provided by the landlord or purchased by a tenant? Are there delivery receipts, warranty cards, or service tickets? Did anyone repair or move it during the lease? Investigations are built on timelines, and timelines are built on receipts and access logs. A single invoice can verify a date. A property manager email can explain why an appliance appears spotless or newly installed. Those boring details often matter more than dramatic adjectives. Let's talk about why that sensational phrasing spreads. Social media rewards shock value. Could fit a body, creates a cinematic picture in your head, and invites speculation. But that's the exact moment to step back and ask, who is making this claim? What do they actually know? And has any law enforcement agency confirmed anything beyond, we looked at an appliance? If the answer is no, the ethical move is to treat the freezer as one data point in a larger process, not as the centerpiece of a narrative. Now to the rental context. When a property is tied to a public figure, attention outruns facts. But leases and landlord obligations don't care about fame. Appliances are often included. Tenants use them like anyone else. If police are asking questions, they'll also ask who had keys, whether contractors accessed the unit, and whether smart locks or cameras captured entries and exits. That's about opportunity and access, not guilt by association. A quick word on forensics. If a lab is asked to test swabs or samples from an appliance, the categories are usually biological screening, latent prints, and sometimes chemical analysis for cleaning agents or unusual residues. Negative results are still results. They can eliminate theories. Positive results must be contextualized. How old is the material? Is it explained by normal use? Can it be tied to a person and a time window? This is why investigations take time. Good labs measure twice and cut once. It's also worth remembering what responsible agencies say in the middle of an active case. Almost nothing. That silence is not proof of anything. It's policy. If you see selective leaks, check whether they're coming from official documents or from folks guessing in the gaps. Sources say without a docket, affidavit, or on-the-record statement is not the finish line. For fans of d4vd and people following closely, here's a practical checklist for real updates. 1. Has any warrant been unsealed that specifically describes what was sought and seized? 2. Have investigators confirmed lab submissions related to the property, and if so, what category of testing? 3. Have the landlord or property managers released maintenance logs or access records that can be cross-checked? 4. Has any court filing moved this from rumor to record? Complaints, returns on search warrants, or motions referencing that property? Those are the moments when a story shifts from chatter to documented fact. There's also a human side we can't ignore. Families, neighbors, and the artist himself are people, not plot devices. Repeating the most shocking phrasing over and over doesn't help an investigation and can harm real people if the implication turns out to be wrong. You can be curious and careful at the same time. Curiosity asks good questions. Care waits for real answers. If you work in media or create content, there's a simple discipline to apply. Quote precisely. Attribute clearly. Avoid implying conclusions you can't support. A freezer was documented at a rented property is accurate. A freezer could fit a body is a rhetorical flourish that tells us more about the speaker's imagination than about the evidence. If you keep that line bright, you won't have to walk anything back later. Bottom line, reports mention a large freezer at a rental linked to d4vd. That's a detail, not a verdict. The only thing that will turn that detail into meaning is lawful documentation, lab work, and timelines that hold up under scrutiny. Until then, the freezer is one item on a checklist, photographed, logged, maybe tested, while investigators do the slow work that separates what's interesting from what's true. Thanks for watching and for choosing context over sensationalism. If you want more clear, careful breakdowns as this and other stories develop, please like this video, drop your thoughts respectfully in the comments, and subscribe to the Short Clips Podcast. I appreciate you tapping in, and I'll see you on the next one.